from different people that sometimes laying it out in this view is easier to see, especially like when they're smaller, you can recognize the picture better than the, what do I want to say, layout version, pile version. Now, Nathan, you were talking about a Green Sun Zenith list yesterday, right? But were you more? I know you were talking about that, but I don't know. I think you might have posted a link, but I did not click it at the time. So what I'm wondering is how wild is this compared to that? You know, you could just move over here, bud. There we go. Okay. Because I like the idea of having like toolboxy Green Sun Zenith effect, but I mean, I think the real thing of how it worked here was because of Veteran Explorer being able to kind of capitalize. Okay. And so I am not really at all familiar with Nick Fit. Like I know what and stuff about it, but the Veteran Explorer Cabal Therapy package, the Neoforms don't feel like they do enough with the chain overall. Like the fact there's no fives. I think a lot of that is, hey, if we have Risen Reef and we have Omnath, that's, you know, pretty fun. So yeah, and this is just like I said, Joe was posting some pictures enough that I was like, it's like I was saying the other day. Like I saw the list and I'm like, or I saw some of the cards and I'm like, I feel like that could be fun. So yeah, I don't know if this is meant to be as competitive as it is to be like I just want to have some fun. And if Joe's having fun playing this, more power to it. I had some fun playing that game. Was that not a little sweet? You're gonna play some later tonight? Okay, I'll probably have to. I saw you streaming earlier today, but I was at work, and so I can't really watch anything at work other than sometimes I'll watch like YouTube on mute at twice the speed. Like that's the best I can get. Oh, gotcha. So yeah, the problem I have if I want to watch, say, somebody's Twitch stream later, I really only get the chance of it like about now. And if I'm streaming, well, obviously I can't watch the other person stream. Or if I did, that'd be really weird. So that is part of the problem of having a full-time job, or what would you even say, full-time job plus? Because I mean, I get to work 5 in the morning, come home, and I literally got off the phone with work at like 5:45. So I cram a lot into the day with job number 1, and then I don't consider this job number 2, really. I mean, this is more meant to be, if I'm going to come downstairs and play Magic, then I'm going to invite you along for the ride. Like, that's kind of how I view this streaming in general, is I kind of want... I'm not going to stream if I don't want to play. And if I play, I'm not going to necessarily play without streaming. At least that's what I found. Okay, Nathan, but what... So if you think Nick Fit doesn't want Omnath, What do I do if I want to play Omnath? What shell do we put around Omnath that if it doesn't fit for Nick Fit, okay, what can we play instead? Knight of the Reliquary, that makes total sense. So maybe more towards, like you're saying, do Maverick style and then put red on top of the Maverick style. What about, wasn't there a Bant deck? Okay, not that Bant deck that we played against on Monday, because that was a little interesting. But no, I like the idea of kind of, well, obviously, I didn't get to play any of the standard or other stuff with Omnath. But, I mean, kind of reading the card and seeing how it's going to interact with fetch lands and things like that, it obviously is just like, yeah, obviously, Omnath is going to be a little kind of nonsense. So, I think the next step is, I mean, that was obviously fun to play. But is there a better, what do I want to say? Is there a better shell for Omnath? And I think this is more just, I don't want to take, I certainly don't want to claim any kind of ownership or whatever. I asked Joe for his list, and he was kind enough to share it with me. So this was just me giving it a spin and then seeing, you know, what do I like, what do I not like, what could I make an iteration for myself. And so the first part of that I liked how I liked how the Field of the Dead was able to help come back in that game. I liked that Green Sun Zenith let us go get a card. I don't know. For the most part, I don't think this is necessarily my style. And so that's a lot of, I can't properly evaluate it because it's a little bit off from the lens that I would view Magic normally. Yeah, and like Nathan is making a point in the chat, I saw this, and the first thing I would say, like, you know, word association, the first thing I saw of this, I was like, oh, that looks fun. I mean, maybe that's the top end, is, oh, hey, that looks fun. And sometimes just harnessing the power of nonsense can get fun, you know? So one thing I'm curious, let's go ahead and let's just bring up Goldfish real quick, because I am curious of other decks with Omnath in it. Maybe from, have really anybody else played Omnath yet? I guess it hasn't really been out that long, has it? Oh, I don't know which one it is. Locus of Creation. Snowco. Leovold, Uro, Omnath, Oko, Teferi, Green Sun. That makes sense. And that's fair too. Like, in Standard, which is kind of like the smallest card pool, it can be this, you know, big fish in a little pond, right? And then even what Historic is, the arena, play all your cards, it's still powerful there. And each time you make the pond a little bit bigger, but the fish kind of stays the same size. So, you know, if it's this huge fish in a fish tank, well, then it's super powerful. You make that fish tank a bathtub, it's still powerful, but it's getting smaller, and then that bathtub becomes the swimming pool. Okay, it's a little small, and then it becomes like the local lake, and then it becomes, the Pacific Ocean. That powerful, huge effect keeps it doesn't necessarily scale. Now, the only thing I would say, fighting my analogy there, is fetch lands. So fetch lands, which you kind of have one in standard Fabled Passage, but like real fetch lands, being able to, get that multiple triggers so easily. But yeah, once you once you increase the size of the body of water, the fish is no longer as scary as it was. I do like the idea of this, though. You have your snow mana base. Astrolabe, like that was one of the things I was almost thinking there. I wished I had Astrolabe, because that is a way to turn your Fields of the Dead, because otherwise it's sitting there as a colorless source and you have all these different colored mana symbols. Astrolabe would let you change that a little bit. So what is this? This is Felidar Retreat. Oh, when a land comes into play, you're triggering and getting stuff. Here's Knight of the Reliquary. Okay. Variety of spells. Ramunap to replay the lands. Interesting. More of the snow deck. More of the snow deck. So is this what you said when you first popped in about Fish Duggery? Okay. I didn't know that was a person. I just thought you're like, I don't know, I thought maybe that was an archetype I didn't know of, And I'm like, yeah, Fish Duggery. So I did not know Fish Duggery was an actual person. Apologies to them. But I kind of like this idea. So let's shift gears. And let's just do that. That's the nice part. Like normally, I could go through the Mana Traders, our sponsor, and okay, put these cards back, take some other cards, etc., etc. But what's nice about this being able to, or I should say, with the Fish Duggery, the current kind of like open source lists. Now, do we still only have one red source? We do. I guess we have Birds of Paradise now. Just feels a little off to only ever have one red source. I guess the Ramunap will bring it back, etc. We do have our Dryad Arbor now. Alright, let's roll. More nonsense. That's true. I have like all of my matches started. somewhere. There it is. We have won the die roll. Swords, brainstorm. I feel like we need some kind of mana creature to get started. We're not natural order, but we do build to some of these other things. We have two different powerful planeswalkers, so maybe we can maybe sit back. Do we have tundras, right? We have a tundra. They have mulligan to 6. They have mulligan to 5. They have mulligan to 5. There we go. Stream Decker has been updated. So they mulligan to 5 with an Underground Sea. That seems a little different. Ouch. Nice. Well, you could tell him I saw his list and I'm like, that looks interesting. The main reason I pushed with Wasteland there is that they had already mulliganed. I thought potentially they might be short on lands type thing that without having selection, like the fact that they didn't lead with a ponder preordained type effect. And it could be wrong, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Depending on what their threat is, we should have it covered from a few different angles. I think Teferi might be my... They Doomsday? I mean, possibly. I don't know if you would have Brainstorm in that Echo deck. I wanted to do, like, and I saw Erin commented yesterday, she ran into, like, the Echoes deck playing white, and it had, like, Teferi and Mentor, and I'm like, dude, that's kind of what I want to do. I feel bad that a lot of the decks that give Erin grief, I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up. Sorry, Erin. Sorry, Erin. All right. So we could just draw a Tundra. Do I play Teferi? Or do I play Oko? I feel like they're Doomsday. So I want to go Teferi and have it resolve. I didn't realize I could have thawed out a Dryad Arbor earlier, and I probably should have. Well, that was sweet. Mm-hmm. Okay. Teferi turns off. Does Teferi turn off Lion's Eye or no? Technically it doesn't, does it? So here are my thoughts. We try to bounce. We turn it into an elk and swords it. Let's try to bounce it first. Because they would have to discard their hand. And that just wasn't happening. So now we play Oko and make a food. And then we can get that going. Got a lot of gold cards. At least we do have Ice Fan Coils. Yeah, I agree. That way the Lion's Eye is just gone. I mean, we could still do it this turn. Because I don't know if I'm going to get too much mileage out of Swords to Plowshares otherwise. Because I'm still not entirely sure what they're playing, but I feel like it's Doomsday. It might not be Doomsday. I think they're trying to sack Lion's Eye Diamond in response, and I don't know if they can. Because of the play things as an instant. I think, I'm not 100% sure if Teferi turns off Lion's Eye Diamond. I was wondering more about how the wording, because it says you can only use it when you could play an instant. They just like 7 Cabal Ritualed. So they have Past in Flames. Yeah, so this should be enough. And then Infernal Tutor into Tendrils. So had we done the other thing, had we elked the Lion's Eye, that would have been better overall. Okay. All right. So we got yacked on by Yak Man. Veil Summers. Deafening Silence. Mindbreak Trap. Is Collector Oof or Meddling Mage worthwhile there? Reliquary. Oko and Uro, maybe slower. Do they play... I'm trying to think of the name of it. Carpet. I have the Green Sun Zenith package, so these don't feel terrible. All right. This could be blue-green, potentially. It's best. 2 of those. No black. What do you have, opponent? Could play Ooze Or this pitch is the force of will. It does everything. Ooh. Excuse me for all the yawning. Tundra. They did not shuffle. Lotus Petal. All powerful Bird of Paradise. Alright, so we're giving ourselves Omnath mana next turn. Potentially. We could also look to Brainstorm with the fetch. Fetch can hit Savannah to give Scavenging Ooze a pump if needed. Good old weirdo Scavenging Ooze. Dark Ritual. Tricked you. I want to play the Omnath. Alright. So, no. We're going to do Uro nonsense. So they'll draw their card. Then I can put back crack. I'll put 4 in there. If I put that, I have the Uro and the next thing. Where's Savannah? Nice. One, two, three, 4, 5. So yeah, we can bring Uro back. My thought being, end step, we just randomly eat again with the ooze, and or have Veil some protection, hoping to find one more land so that we can Uro as well. I did. I just kind of brought in the various green creatures. Yeah, I brought in the Night of Autumn as well as Oof. So we could also, yeah, just get that and turn off the Lion's Eye, Lotus Petals, stuff like that. That's a good call. See what they do. Not sure what exactly is going on. I mean, we are in the tournament practice room. It's not like it's the same as some of the other stuff. But, I feel confident about this game. Am I still connected? Is it just... I see our opponent's clock going. They may be thinking very hard here. It could be a tough decision. They also could have heard the buzzer go off for their laundry. The stove timer has gone off for their macaroni and cheese. The smoke alarm out. Oh, see. I usually just start naming random things, and our opponent usually, well, they're going for it. Cabal ritual. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They currently have 8. So eating 1 does nothing there. Plus, they still have the polluted delta, for example. Alright, so if they passed in flames here, we eat the ad nauseum so they can't cast it. And maybe that was what they were lulling me into sleep. So they can still play the blue spells. And they still have access to the black mana. They can duress. Ponder. Yep. I guess I can yield now. Sit back. See what they do. I have no possible plays. My possible play could involve going to get a drink. I'm going to go refill my water. That's a possible play. Alright. Duress resolves. They got a Wishclaw Talisman. for the future, I guess. Yeah, that would be another thing to turn off. Oof. Green, green, blue, blue. I could have given myself more. One, two, three, four. Yes, but I have seen some that used what is it, grape shot. I mean, obviously they would have to work a whole lot harder for a grape shot to work, but I'm saying it's something as opposed to, and we still have Veil of Summer here with the Bird of Paradise. So I feel like that's okay. I'm not sure that they can necessarily reset again fast enough. Yeah. Okay. So things like deafening silence will slow them down, but it's not perfect. The Veil of Summer in response to primarily their discard effects. But yeah, it can stop tendrils as their main kill and force them to go with Empty the Warrens or something like that. The Idea Collector Roof I like. Mind Break Trap just in general. I mean, potentially Meddling Mage can do some nonsense with stopping what cards they can play. Obviously, that's what Meddling Mage does. What I mean is, like, that couldn't be more obtuse. If they needed a certain card to get out of the situation, that's where Meddling Mage can stop them, obviously. I don't know about Teferi Time Raveler. Now I'm just cutting cards at random. Let's bring another Earl back in just for... It's a blue card. I'm willing to do that. Alright, game 3. On the draw for us. Ugh. I mean, to be able to get a quick excavator with Wastelands would kind of be sweet. Turn 1, Noble. Turn 2, Excavator. Waste you, replay, waste you. So that's my turn 3. Like, it's not great, but I feel like that's the kind of value maybe I have to rely on. Because if they have like the crazy turn 1 Storm, maybe one Force of Will wasn't going to do it anyway, and maybe I draw a blue card off the top and then I have it all. It's nice to have it all. I could draw an Omnath. How about that? Alternatively, they could play Snow Covered Island. Shut up. They are ghosting and know that I have all the wastelands in the world. That must be it. Oh, basics. They did not shuffle because they don't need to because they have basics. Blue card. Close. So I'm going to go noble here. I'm going to go noble here for the chance to not go Ramunap, but to drop out a collector oof in case that's powerful. Yeah, it's kind of a click intensive deck. They can win in 4 minutes. I haven't played Magic Online in a while. I'm sorry. They're catching up in the chat. Stop chatting. Oh, the double basic. You're so brutal. Goodbye everything in my deck. You gotta take the Green Sun, right? Because I'm definitely casting Green Sun for, yeah, Collector Oof. Blue card, 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 blue card. It's gonna be like Felidar Retreat. What is the opposite of a blue card? Pyroblast, but it's in my sideboard. They did not shuffle. A red-green card is the opposite. A red-green card is the opposite, I think. Whatever, YOLO. Let's just hope they don't have enough material to go for it. Just kidding. The Collector Oof would have won the game. Maybe. Maybe. That's more lion's eyes. Number 6. So, bad keep on our part. A bad keep. Well, thinking that we could catch them with the double wastelands, but not necessarily having that be the right thing. Really? I would have considered with that going for the Infernal Tutor. Knowing that you had that much mana with Infernal Tutor, I think if you go get Past in Flames there, Dark Ritual. Past in Flames would be spell number 7. Dark Ritual would be spell number 8. Infernal Tutor would be spell number 9. Tendrils would be spell number 10. They got there anyway. But I think it was safer to go for the Past in Flames. But it worked out. They got us. Just apparently playing insurance cards to get Storm up as high as possible to play around Scars of the Veteran. All right. They could very well disconnect. You never know.